Good morning. Hi, Kate. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Michelle. Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Is polished rough? Who is that? Do I know who you are? You made it. Oh, hi, Carrie. Hi, Susan. Good morning, Denise. Good morning, Raul. Hi, Janelle. Janelle, we missed you on Friday. Did you hear your shout out? What's today? Monday, yes. Hello, hello. Good morning. Hi, Reagan. Oh, hi, Chad. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure. Hi, Chad. Good morning. Hi, Cassie. Good morning. Magic is not logical. Yeah, clean these up a little bit. Does anybody else have like a lot of animals and still insists upon wearing black shirts all the time? Because sometimes I catch myself in these videos and I'm like, oof, what are you doing? It has been a time, Carrie. What a time it has been. What a time it has been. Indeed. All doing things. Yeah, always, right? I know. And I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say that I care overly much about it either. So there's that. But just every once in a while I catch myself and I'm like, wow, look at you. You're completely covered in your animals. Do you want some smudgies? I feel like I needed it this morning. There's some for you. One for you. It just adds a little bit of whimsy to your outfit, right? Okay. Good morning. Oh, that's right. It's somebody's birthday today. Happy birthday, Janelle. Thank you, Rose. Thank you so much. I'm getting compliments this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning, Andrew. Um, Janelle is having a birthday today, and I feel like we have a lot of Leo friends, a lot of August Leo friends in the house, right? We've got Janelle, I think, Jacinda, Jen. Who else? Who else is an August Leo that I'm forgetting about? I know y'all like to celebrate your birthday. You're getting a lot of happy birthdays over here on Instagram, Janelle. Oh my goodness gracious. So how was everybody's weekend? Wait, oh, it's Andrew's birthday today. Janelle, you have a birthday twin over here on TikTok. It's Andrew's birthday too. I love it. Oh my God, same year too. That's crazy. Birthday twins. What are the chances? I love it. But yes, how was everybody's weekend? I mean, we're obviously let's talk about it, but this weekend and last the end of last week was really not a fan favorite. Not a fan favorite. There was a lot of leveling up in very brutal and not so I don't know. I don't know. Just it just seemed really relentless is the word I want to use. Like seems things are just not chill. They're not going chill, but they're going. So there is that. Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Danny. Ooh, a 5-hour float does sound nice. It was also good to see you in person, Kate. Um, Here's the thing, and I want to know if you can relate to this because it occurred to me this weekend, right? I am very obviously an energy sensitive person. I'm neurodivergent and I am very sensitive to energy. And most of my friends that are close to me are exactly that same way. And I was thinking this weekend because I did go to Pride in Harrisburg on Saturday, and I was like freaking grit and determined to do that, even though I'd had a really rough couple days leading up to it. I was like, no, I want to do that. But the thing is, it was not good for me. Like, it was not what my system needed, and I was overstimulated the second I got there, and too hot, too many people, like too many things happening, and overloaded my system and just kind of crashed me. And it had me thinking later when I had cooled down. It's like, do I do things because I actually really think I'm going to enjoy doing them, or do I do some things because it's like I think I enjoy them. Like, I think that that's the thing I wanna be doing. Like, I feel like I'm really gonna be looking at that moving forward because I think the things I used to enjoy are no longer as enjoyable now that I'm not actively masking my personality all the time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really care anymore to, like, keep up with what things should look like. And so the things that feel actually fun to me are just like not what they used to be. And for the most part, I think that, there's a few people right now that I like to see. And I love you dearly. And sometimes I just want to see you in kind of like a dimly lit room that I own, like in my own house without a lot of stimulation. It's just a lot right now. It's just a lot right now. Yeah, and I felt like, I didn't have FOMO either. It was more like, I got messages from a lot of people saying, "Oh, are you gonna come out to the parties afterwards?" And I was like, "Wow, I don't even know how I would make like I don't even know how I would do it. Like I don't even know how I would possibly do it, and nor do I want to." And it just kind of occurred to me that like things have things have changed, and that's not a bad thing. It's just like maybe Sarah, stop putting yourself in places that you know you're not going to enjoy because it's just not your thing right now. But for me, I think that my brain was telling me it was going to be more of a Capona, like Arts Fest, and it wasn't. If something's like by the river and I can like walk in a straight line and there's a little bit more air, I think I could have done that. But anyway, things change all the time. But let's talk about this weekend. And let's talk about that video game analogy because that came through yesterday and it really did help me to kind of sort this. Um, things are like last week, the energy got really intense for me on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just like, whoa. Um, I actually got my period on Friday, which is early. Normally I'm in between new moon and full moon, a little bit closer to new moon, but this time it was like, here you go. And it made a lot of sense with how I was feeling. But I had the most raging case of PMS that I've had. I haven't had my hormones like do me like that for years. Like I usually don't even really notice much of a mood shift in myself. It's not really my thing. But I had so many moments last week of actively feeling like I was outside of my body, watching myself be completely and utterly like unhinged. And the interesting thing that I'm wondering if you guys can relate to as well is that I didn't want to stop myself from being like that. Something that's been coming up for me a lot is this concept of constantly moderating myself to make everybody else around me comfortable and never just having my raw immediate emotional reaction to something, always being incredibly polite, always just behaving like being on good behavior all the time no matter what's going on with me, even when I'm having the worst time ever. And I realized that I do that. I am always on my best freaking behavior, even when my life is literally falling apart and I like can hardly put a foot in front of the other. Trust, if you need my help, I'm going to help you, and I'm also going to have a good attitude about it. And it just kind of broke in me last week. That I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm allowed to have a bad moment, a bad day. Like everyone else around me, like close to me, can have those moments where they just pop off. And I absolutely hold space for them, and I don't hold it against them. And I'm like, yeah, you popped off because of this, and this. But I've never given myself space to do that, and I've never had space held for me to do that. Anytime I've ever had that kind of a reaction, it's gone poorly for me, right? Like I get in trouble somehow. And last week I was like, I don't care. I'm not even gonna try. I couldn't even stop myself from like just kind of acting unhinged. And I paid a price for it almost immediately. And it was a huge learning lesson for me and those in relationship with me because it was like all of our codependencies got exposed like whoa. Like all of the dependencies that like depend upon this person doing this and this person doing that. And like, I expect you to always be this way and I expect you to always be this way. All of those things were just completely exposed and like raw. And it was a mess, like a mess. And these are the moments where when I tell you guys like, hey, it's time to rely on your tools. That's kind of what I mean. It's when like you are completely laid out and shit's hit the fan and everything's just everywhere. It's like, okay, what are my tools here? And also, what do I want? And this is really where I think for me, especially this weekend, and the days leading up, it really showed me who is really wanting to do this work with me because we're not perfect. Like, that's an unreasonable expectation. I don't go into any relationships expecting that person to be like the most ideal and supportive and absolutely healed and precious person there can be. But I do go into it now with the expectation that we want to grow together and that we want to be aware of any of our behaviors, traits, codependencies, habits, whatever it is that are actively, preventing growth in the relationship and preventing connection. And that's really I think the difference because there are some people where if you say to them, "Hey, your behavior really upset me," they're going to completely lose it on you and not there's not going to be anything constructive happening. And this week really showed me that, like, as messy as things can be when completely exposed, it's also very necessary to start to put things back together in a way that actually does make sense and does feel really good. So it's been really hard and exhausting, but I do think collectively we are really like feeling the difference in the way that we're reacting to things. Do you agree with me there? um the energy shifted a lot yesterday, and here in central Pennsylvania from we had a break from this incredible heat that we've been having, and it rained and rained and rained. It dropped down to like it was like 70 degrees around 7 p.m. yesterday, and it just felt so like it felt like you could finally take a breath in and also exhale it, you know what I mean? And here we are now in August, and while I would love to tell you that it's like, whoop, smooth sailing from here on, that's really not our vibe for this year. However, I will tell you that we are now in a new level. And just remember, leveling up is different for everybody. But it means that you've integrated a lot. So you can trust yourself as you move forward into this week that when you encounter things, you have a whole new set of tools that are at the ready available for you. And while you absolutely do still have, for the most part, the ability to kind of fall back into old, comfortable behaviors, more at the forefront is kind of the energy of this new way of using the energy around you and also using your new tools. So I think that as you move forward, just kind of keep it in mind that as things happen, you have a whole new set of tools to use that you are very, very, very capable of using. You've been doing lots of practicing. Today is the first, in exactly 1 week, the Lionsgate portal is peaking on the 8th. And for anyone who has been, actively for the past few years being aware of this date of Lionsgate on 8/8, you probably have remembered that at least for the past three Lionsgate, this date has been a very big change marker for you in your life. It's it's going to be pretty amazing. And I know a lot of you here, in the normalized magic community, you've definitely been here with me since last Lionsgate. So I definitely think this week would be a wonderful time to reflect back a year ago and to kind of see what has happened in that year and take stock of that and just kind of let your mind be blown by what's happened. Like, what you've created, what you've let go of, how you've grown in different ways and spaces that you would never have thought you would have. Like, just kind of look at it. And also remember that during this portal time, we had that metaphor come through during the channeling. And if you haven't watched the new moon in Leo channeling, it doesn't expire because we're not exactly in new moon energy. Go watch it. There's a really good ritual with the dirt, and it's on my YouTube. It's the metaphor is that this portal is like a highway, okay? And so it's just open for you to travel. But the thing is, are you going to go fast? Or are you going to go slow? That's up to you. That's up to the vehicle that you're in. And the vehicle is the point at which you're at in your particular life, in your energy, in your growth, like what you're doing and how you choose to use this energy. So, depending on how you choose to use this portal energy, remember it's a highway. So you can get where you want to get really, really fast if that feels like something you want. All right. And it's open all the way through the end of August, but this we're peaking next Monday. And don't worry, next Monday during Coffee Magic, I'm commandeering Coffee Magic for my own self, and we're going to be doing a very focused session on this energy for 8/8. But all that to say, this energy is here for you to use, and you always have. So if you look back at this time of year, like this is the time of year when new things really do start. People come into your life out of nowhere, things shift and align. Like it really it starts to set up your whole next year. Okay. And a lot of times, people, if you notice, some people have come into your life around this Lionsgate portal. Um, also tend to exit like right before it. There are some relationships that are like cyclical like that with the Lionsgate. So just pay attention, see where it's at for you. Um, but it's going to be really wild. And I think all of this leveling up we're doing too is really poisoning us um, to enjoy it, to enjoy how much we've taken an investment in our own behaviors, in our own lives, in a way that really puts our needs first. Finally, right? So it's going to be great. I'm pretty excited about it. Now, um, we're going to get into sensory card pulls in just a moment. So if you're new to Coffee and Magic, we are going to be getting some insight from them. But I want to remind you, I'm going to be sending out an email about Lionsgate and a few other things. So if you're not on my email list, make sure that you are. You can find that through the link in my bio. The New Moon Leo ritual is on my YouTube. That's also linked in my bio. And if you feel like you are ready to take your magical journey a little bit further, you can always join the Normalized Magic community. There's a link for that as well. And we meet every Wednesday morning for small group sessions. Okay. So it's going to be great. We're doing our skulls again. They just really want to play with us. So we're going to be using all three skulls just like we did on Friday. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to tell you. What was it? Oh, there it is. For those of you who did the new moon stuff and you did your dirt, today's a good day to add a little bit more magic to your dirt. So you want to be doing that whenever you feel called to, right? But something you might want to do is just kind of take a moment today, feel your vibe, and like pull in a few elements. Like, what's a word that's coming to you that feels really good? Is there another song? I don't know. Write it on a piece of paper, burn it in your dirt so those ashes mix in there. Give your dirt some energy today. Give it a little oomph, okay? If you've been doing that. And thank you so much, Andrew, and happy birthday. Um, all right, so I'm going to show you your selections for sensory card pulls for today. Also, and my brain is all over the place, but it is August 1st. And for those of you who do the TikToks, um, today Roll for Sandwich is back. And if you don't know what that is, you really need to just go search it. Roll for Sandwich. This very delightfully pleasant man uses dice and rolls and makes a random sandwich, and then he eats it and he lets you know what the score is. And it is so happy. It is so happy. So give yourself a little happy stay and go check that out. Okay, so today the skulls are back, and here you are, your choices. First is him. Okay, so feel into him's energy and see if that feels good for you. Okay, in the middle we have peony. Feel into peony's energy and see how that feels for you. Okay, and then we have rocket. So who is it? Who are you feeling today? Drop it in the comments. Who you're feeling most connected to this morning. I need to sip the coffee and start shuffling. Mickey's doing peony and rocket today. While I'm shuffling, do you want to hear this weird dream I had last night? So I don't really know what was happening around the dream. You know how dreams are, but I remember I walked into this like kitchen, and there was this girl who was like the daughter of a friend or something. She was probably like, late teens, early 20s. And it felt like somebody who I'd known when they were like a kid, but like was growing up, right? And this girl was with this other girl who was very feminine looking, but much taller. And she introduced this girl as her husband. And when she did that, whoever else was in the room started to refer to the girl who was the husband as a she. And so I was like, "Hey," I went up to the girl and I said, "What are your pronouns?" And I think they said him. I think he said him as pronouns. And I said, "Okay." And I said, "You can also refer to yourself as daddy." And I don't know what is going on with me lately that that has just been like, I don't know, it's just a joke that's gone off the rails, but I've been using daddy as a thing all the time. It's been on TikTok, I think, but I just couldn't believe I had that dream. I'm like, yeah, you can refer to yourself as a him, or you can refer to yourself as daddy. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Out of all the dreams to remember, that's the one that's sticking with me this morning. All right. Let me show you again. Him, I'm choosing from him, peony, or rocket. I didn't get myself a daddy flex. I didn't buy anything at Pride because I was so overstimmed. I couldn't even like focus on anything. But Megan said she's going to get me either a daddy flag or a daddy fan. So I'll be waiting on that. Rocket. Okay. Hey, Beth. I'm daddy now. Okay. Does everybody choose? Because we're rolling. I also have to get my kids to camp. All right. So him, peony, or rocket? Who are you feeling this morning? I'm doing first for him is up here. Beth says I'm daddy now too. Yeah, we're all daddy now. Oh my God. I don't hate it somehow. All right. Are my hymn people ready? Or should I call it my daddy people? All right. Let's do this. You're just on time. So we're about to pull cards for sensory card pulls. You're choosing from this skull. This is hymn, peony, or rocket. Just choose which one you feel most aligned with. Drop it in the comments and then listen to the corresponding reading. All right. So we're locked and loaded for hymn. The cow, the bard, and protection. Interesting, huh? It is interesting. Now, the bard has been consistently showing up in readings, so that's really not shocking. But the rest of this, let's talk about the story. Again, it's the cow, the bard, and protection. So the bard is all about telling your story and the importance of telling your story. And sometimes when this comes up for you, there's a few oh, he really is. Ooh, he really is. He doesn't want me to move him, so you just enjoy that. Enjoy that TikTok. Um, for some of you, this is like, oh, I've been meaning to write my book. I need to write my book. I should write a book. You should write a book. I should go write the damn book then, because you've gotten this message a lot of times, right? Like keep going, keep going, keep going. But it's not just about writing a book. It's actually about being very open and honest with what your actual story is, and remembering that if you have chosen to tell your story in a very you know very narrow and specific way, that actually starts to become your real story, right? Because that's the one you're telling, that's the one people know, that's the one they attach to you. So it's time to take responsibility of the narrative that you're crafting about yourself and to yourself, right? What is your story? If your story is, you know, and this is not saying it's a bad thing, but let's just take it as an example. If you're going to say my story is, I've been abused for most of my life, I'm an abuse survivor, and I don't trust anybody, and I feel like I have anxiety all the time and I just don't want to connect, and like yada yada yada. If that is your story, it's time to add more words to it. Okay. When I'm working with my clients in more of a one on one and we have something that's a block, right? I have them tell me what the block is in a sentence. Okay. You know how sometimes you get something in your head and it's just like one thing over and over again. Um, I'm never going to be able to find someone to love me, something like that, right? It's like a sentence that just keep going, keep going. It's not really helpful to tell you to just remove that sentence, because if it was that fucking easy, certainly you would have done that already. It's like, ooh, what a light bulb moment. I should just remove that sentence from my brain. It's not that simple, because it's kind of really dug in there. So instead of completely removing the sentence, how about we like change up the punctuation? Put a comma where the period is and continue writing. This is what you're being asked to do now. Don't get stuck in one sentence. Continue. Twist the narrative out. Add some flair. Like keep writing your story. Don't just let it be a period at the end of a sentence that isn't very enjoyable for you, because you are the one in control of this. You're writing your narrative. So I'm never going to find anyone to love, comma, but actually, I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to enjoy this part of my life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on an adventure. I'm going to do this. Like, keep going. Just roll on. Just don't get stuck. So, this is telling you to keep writing your story. Now you have the cow in protection, which it's an interesting combo, because the cow is a very abundant message, but it's like the cow is basically saying, like, you've asked for help, you've asked for a bunch of things, you've been very specific in some cases, but you're frustrated because you haven't received it. But the cow is telling you you haven't received it because you don't know how to receive it. You constantly reject any good things that come your way because you don't believe them. You believe all of the negative things can come your way. You trust those. yes, this horrible stuff is bound to happen. But anything good, it's like it would have to really sneak in there for you to allow it to actually get in there. Like it would have to kind of Trojan horse you. And that isn't cool. It's not cool, right? It's not fair to you. It's not fair for you to have an open door policy for anything shitty and a complete lockdown for anything beautiful and happy, any praise coming your way. Like, no, sir. Like, in order to receive, you have to receive, right? In order to be able to feel that, you have to let it kind of come in. So this is asking you, if you've been feeling that, like, hey, why don't you let yourself actually feel the good things too? Why don't you open the door to all of the things waiting to land, right? Instead of actively not seeing them or actively not hearing them. Okay. Protection is boundaries. Okay. We're not protecting ourselves the same way we used to, where it's like, I'm just going to do this and no one's going to hurt me. It doesn't really, it's not really the vibe, right? How do you protect yourself in this energy? It's all about access and boundaries. Okay. And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. And I just don't care because I feel like this is an important one. It came through a little while ago. I was thinking the other day about how I love and what that means for me, not for anybody else. Um, Not for anybody else, but how do I love? What does love mean to me? Because the people who society tells me I should love, I don't love them. And I realized that, in the past couple weeks, and it was not a great time. It didn't feel comfortable. It felt very fucked up. But I realized like I don't love them because that's just not how I feel. But I realized upon thinking about like, can I love? Do I love? What does love mean for me? Love for me is very specific. I either love you or I don't. And if I love you, I never ever stop loving you. I had a realization this past week that I actually still love every single person I have ever loved. And it's almost an auto response within me that, like, every once in a while, one of them will pop up in my head and I send that love to them. Even if I'm never going to talk to them again in my whole history of life, even if they've been a total shitbird, it doesn't actually matter. You can't do anything to lose my love because that's what love is for me. It's always I love you immediately or I don't. But do you know what isn't unconditional? Access. I can love you forever and never let you near me. I can love you and say, hey, the behavior you're exhibiting is very harmful for me, so I really can't be around you anymore. Love is not something that you have to earn with me. And I wonder if you feel that too. You don't have to earn my love. You just have it. You just you have it. What you have to earn is my trust. You have to earn space at my energetic table. And those things can be taken away, but not the love. And I think that with the protection message might be helpful for some of you because we gatekeep love a lot, but love is not the thing we need to be gatekeeping. Love whomever you want to for as long as you want to. Like, that feels great, doesn't it? But what doesn't feel great is then allowing that feeling of love to put yourself in positions where you are not being treated the way you should be treated, the way you want to be treated. And that's where boundaries come in. So you have to earn a space here. You do, but you don't have to earn love. Everybody gets to have that love because the way that I do it is it's like it's on or it's off, buddy. So something to think about. How do you love? And do you love people because society says this is the person you're supposed to love? Or what? How is it for you? Just something to think about. So anyway, that's your hymn message with like a healthy dose of Sarah message. And we're moving on to Peony. Thank you, Chad. Hey, Christine. All right, we're rolling, not rolling. Oh my God, I'm thinking about roll for sandwich. We are shuffling, and it is time for peony. We're clearly getting, oh my goodness, shut up. Oh my God. You guys, look at this. You saw me shuffle, right? Okay. All right. So here's the exact same card pull except with a twist. So instead of the cow, we have perception. And sorry if him and Peony are in league this morning. So here we're doing this now. So let's just kind of recap then, because apparently we need to hear this. If you chose him and Peony, you are going to really need to not forget this one. And again, it's about telling your story and being in control of your narrative of your story, but also saying like, all right, I'm not going to get stuck on this one sentence anymore. I'm going to keep writing. Okay? And in addition, this, taking it to the next step with the bard card, if you chose both peony and him, this is a very expressed sign to you that your telling of your story needs to be looked at. There's something there's something in the internal narrative that you have going on here that is actively blocking you from something that is right in front of you. Okay? Actively blocking you from something that is right in front of you. So all it's going to take is a little bit of a perspective shift, and I know this says perception, I do see that, but it's a perspective shift that's going to assist you with this one. So what does that mean for you? Every single person is going to have a different interpretation and feeling and remembrance of any event. You can have 6 people witness the same exact thing. That's going to hit all of them very differently. We need to start realizing that in like deep inside of ourselves, and stop trying to have the same experiences as everybody else, and instead compare experiences and enjoy the differences. Okay? You don't need to argue. You don't need to be like, well, mine is the one that's the right one. It's like, no, no, no. Just, what was your experience? This was mine. Let's compare notes and like see what we can learn from the different ways that we perceive the world around us. Your story that you have inside of you, that you tell yourself, the one you're like, this is who I am, these are my limits, this is where I'm blocked, yada yada yada. This story needs more commas and less periods. Okay? Possibly even a semicolon, whatever you want to do. If you do like dashes, do dashes, but less periods and more just like, let's keep this flowing. Let's add a little more of a twist to this. It really is asking you to do that. And talking about your perception of what's happening around you, you can shift that with your words. Protection is here again to remind you about your boundaries. And like I just said, love forever. That's okay. But people do need to earn a seat at your energetic table. They need to prove to you that they should be there. That does need to happen. You can't just let everybody come in. It's not like a community meal, just come in, grab a bowl if you're hungry and eat up. What the fuck, right? You're not a food kitchen, a soup kitchen. That's not what you are. You're not an energetic buffet for hungry passersby. Okay? You are a finely realized, delicious, exquisite meal that is not for everybody. And you need to start seeing yourself that way. It doesn't mean you can't be very loving. It doesn't mean you can't have these amazing, deep feelings for people. But if they are not acting right, they need to move on or learn how to act right to gain entry. Okay? Respect. So that is your peony message, which is very much like your hymn message. So, hi, Jackie. I'm Sarah. All right. So, last is Rocket, and we'll see Oh, Ricky, did you? Okay, you chose peony and rocket. We'll see what happens with rocket. But it is the bard is definitely very much connected to for those who are in the project of writing, it's super like, hey, tell your story. Hi, did he go or he said he was going? What does that mean? Okay. All right. Rocket is not going to give you the same message as the other two pulls. So here comes Rocket, bringing up the rear with a little different energy. Oh, that's hot. You ready? Dragon, perception, birth and rebirth. Ooh, this is a fiery pull. This at least finally feels like there's a little bit of Leo energy. What did my birthday friends pick today? What did Janelle and Andrew? Who did you pick today? Um, but yeah, let's talk about it. Okay. Janelle picked Rocket. Andrew, did you also pick Rocket? I didn't see. I want to talk about this card first. Okay. Okay, my two birthday babies picked this one and it's perfect for you guys. So, birth and rebirth card. Okay? This is not this is not the death card, which we've been getting a lot lately, but this is the birth and rebirth card. And this message today is really specific. So pay attention. You are you, okay? You are not turning into anybody else. But if you think about it like this, you're always going to be you. You were you yesterday and you're going to be you tomorrow. But right now, in this very moment, your you-ness, the energy that comes together in this unique formation to create the exact signature that says, "Oh, that's them. That's who that is. I recognize that person. That specific energy is going through a massive up level, and we're going to call that a rebirth. So all of your energy is staying. It's staying here. It's not going anywhere. But it's getting bigger and it's morphing and rising and finding itself finally in the truest expression that it's been able to have so far in your time on this earth. It's very exciting. It's like, what's the best way to put this? It's joy. It's the kind of joy that makes tears come to your eyes because you're like, I don't have to work so hard. It's all been here the whole time. It's like, finally activated, big, present, vulnerable, and tender, powerful, magnetic. It's like all of those things. It's like just, it's the most boss you that you've ever been. And it's very lovely. It's the best. You have this dragon energy that is supporting this rebirth situation. Okay. It's the dragon's like taking its wings and going like this. And it's like there's this fire, these embers like in the center of you, and the dragon's going like this. It's going like this, and it's making the embers go whoosh. And it's delightful. So happy birthday, because that seems like the best birthday present of all. The most you've ever fucking been. Now, the perception card is here again, and this is just a reminder how you choose to see the world. You control that. You lead that. You guide that. So, any situation that you find yourself in, if you don't like it, you can flip it around. In fact, we see people do this all the time, right? Have you not been in relationships with people, regardless of what types of relationships, where something happens and they take that and they really twist it around to work for them in their own interesting way that their brain has decided to make that a thing, right? So that's kind of like the negative aspect of the perception alchemy, right? Can we also have the positive aspect, which is you creating an existence that feels very good for you, that works for you, okay? Um, I also want to tell you, just generally speaking, not necessarily with the rocket cards, we're entering into a time now where we're opening ourselves up to a whole new way of loving, of having sexual connection, of kind of understanding the magic and potency that exists between us and those we interact with. We're opening up to a whole new level of experiencing that because we're releasing so many programs that made it impossible to connect that way, right? Guilt and shame that are so deeply programmed into us that say pleasure is bad and suffering is good. You have to suffer first and then you get to have good things later. All of these programs are like kind of disintegrating around us, especially for those of you who are like actively doing this work, right? And as we do that, you release these blocks that have been keeping you from feeling that pleasure, from like feeling the pleasure that comes from simple things like, do you pay attention to what it feels like to touch the hand of somebody that you love? Do you pay attention to what that's like? Just that simple moment of like reaching out and touching the hand of somebody you love, like just that. Have you been present for those small moments of like exquisite beauty and connection? Because if not, pay attention, because those are actually that's kind of the point. Like this right here, touching somebody's hand and feeling that energy and like touching them out of that love space, that's the whole point of being here. That's the big picture that we so easily forget, right? It's like those moments that have ever happened in your life where like you're in them and you're like, this is so good that I need my brain to just like pin this moment so I can come back here again and again and again and again. I want you to have more of those. I want you to slow down enough to tag the little things like that and make them the big things, because you have those available to you all the time. But we're always like looking for these like big, massive, like neon flashing light things. They're just like these mountains of like journeys and spiritual revelations, when like the biggest revelations is really just to be found right in front of you in the small, seemingly small connection points. So think about that this week. Seek out those moments. Be present to how amazing those small things can feel and how they can fill you up, because that's what we're here to do. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for Coffee and Magic. I'm here every Monday and Friday. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram to get updates. You can join my mailing list. And for my normalized magic friends, I will see you Wednesday morning. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. And again, happy, happy, happy birthday to Janelle and to Andrew.